And joining me today, we have Jake Kwiatkowski. He's our game expert at the game agency, and he's going to show you how to build a match game. Without further ado, Jake, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Stephanie. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our game building webinar today. I am Jake, as was just so mentioned, and I am in Rochester, New York. It has not snowed yet, so we are thankful of this. Ooh, we got someone calling in from Alaska, it seems. Hello, welcome. My cousin just moved up there, and I need to go visit him in Alaska. So today, if you are new, we are going to talk very quickly about our match building game. And then I'm going to build a game in real time to show you just how easy and simple it is. And then we'll even play a little bit of it. And if anyone has any questions, like Madeline said, well, we got a lot of Alaskans and a lot of Floridians here today. I like it. If anyone has any questions, put them in the chat. If it's a really, really on-topic question, we'll interrupt me and we'll address it then. If not, we can talk about it at the end of the webinar. So without further ado, here we go. I have a quick slideshow to talk about our match game. There we go. All right. Perfect. So let's match it up with training games. So first of all, hopefully you're all familiar, at least slightly, with game-based training and how effective it is at engaging your learners, making sure they have fun. It provides you with tons of actionable analytics. It makes the learning bite-sized, retainable. It's just great for training, especially in this day and age when our attention spans are shrinking. So we can really engage, make things fun, and impart knowledge at the same time. So Match is our Candy Crush style game. If you've played Candy Crush, it's the same kind of mechanic where you are matching up three different icons. You can see some of the icons right here. So matching up 3 boats, 3 rabbits, et cetera. And then once those are matched up, they disappear, clears part of the board, you get a score, more rows come down. The training part of this is there are questions that are answered beforehand and after these levels. And if you answer those questions correctly, you can get power-ups to help you clear the board and get a higher score. Match is kind of cool because you can think of it in 2 different ways. You can think of it as a game with learning breaks if you're just trying to, kind of get the blood flowing and, maybe wake people up from a webinar or something like this. Or you can think of it as, training with game breaks. And you can do that by just kind of adjusting the length you spend on levels, the amount of questions in between levels, and we will get to all of that when we build the game. Another great thing, like I said, about Match, particularly on top of just game-based training as a whole, is the ability for micro-learning. Levels make things bite-sized, literally, where you can do them very quickly, retain and engage with smaller pieces of information, which help you retain that better, bring it forward to the front, and just improve your training overall. It's fast-paced, it's action, things are moving around, you're getting rid of the matching icons. It's just a nice little fun rush of adrenaline. It looks good when you clear the board. On to that next thing. It's like when you were playing Tetris as a kid and you got that, you got 4 in a row because that long piece showed up. Woo! That was a good feeling. So Candy Crush harnesses that same thing and pairs training with it at the same time. And also, as with any sort of gamification, it encourages repeat play due to scoring. I want to score higher than Stephanie, and then Stephanie beats me, and then Madeline comes in, and Madeline wants to score higher than me. And all of that is taking place while we are engaging with training material multiple times. So really great way to engage your learners. Tons of different question types as well. With our match game, we have multiple choice, multi-select, text input, image matching, and polls. So this is great to engage different types of learners, different ways of learning, and is a great way to offer different types of knowledge checks to your learners. Also, tons and tons of actionable analytics. If anyone is familiar with the training arcade, all of the actions that your player learns or takes place are captured, in the analytics. You can break things down by question, by clue, by game. You can see things in aggregate. Here is one question, and you can see the accuracy by each time. Now look how cool that is. Overall, the first attempt of this clue was not so great, and then as people started attempting it more and more, they got better. You can see that here again too. We have proven and have done a study of games built on our platform that the knowledge bump is enormous between the first and third attempts at play. And you can really see that nicely illustrated here with these analytics. And again, microlearning. Match is really great because it is simple and short training points that need practice, repetition. Match is good at harnessing that. The last game building webinar I had for Jump is also really good in that. They kind of play along the same angle of fast-paced, you're moving pieces around the board, so you're thinking and you're engaged, and then you take a quick break, answer some clues, answer some questions that deal with the training, and then get back in the game to help you play the game. It's a really nice cycle that kind of feeds itself. So Match and Jump, one of our other games, really great for this micro-learning aspect. Same with repeat play. This is the study that I was talking about. So if you played something 3 or more times on our platform, and I can share this game link study in a moment when we get out of the chat. There was a 57% jump in knowledge, or 58, excuse me, improvement in knowledge between the first and third play. Because go figure, the more and more you interact with the same questions, because you're trying to get that higher score, you're trying to beat your coworker to get that score, you're interacting with the same material and you're being asked the same questions, and they just keep being driven into your head. And voila, you've learned something and had fun at the same time. And that is the name of the game. And last little thing here before we get into the meat of this is game customization. So if you want, for a nominal fee, you can change the icons in our match game. So there are some that are built in, several different templates, but these are ones like, this was one we made for St. Patrick's Day. Here was a holiday themed one. Here's one that's got a cool ocean nautical theme. And this may seem silly, but if something is visually appealing, fun, and you're playing St. Patrick's Day on St. Patrick's Day or the holidays during the holidays, it just deepens that emotional connection. People are having more fun, like, oh, it is Christmas. Look at this wonderful winter setting, or oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. Look at all these cool icons here that make me feel like I'm in the mood of this holiday, and just gets you deeper into the game and therefore more engaged with your training. So if you wanted to ever do some sort of game customization, new skins, etc., we do offer this on all of our games for a small development fee, and you can just get in contact with us about that. So all that said, let's build a game, right? Let's do it. So I'm going to stop sharing 1 second, pull up the training arcade. Okie dokie. So here we are. So if everyone is familiar with the training arcade, here it is. This should look familiar to you. So this is kind of your main homepage. This is more of a test environment for us. Excuse me. So you'll notice that some of the data is not filled in. However, this is what I was talking about. Here's aggregate data for all of our games. These are individual games, the game type, amount of sessions, amount of players, accuracy of those players, who was created by, dates, last modified. And all of this information for any of these games, you can export them as a whole, by game, to Excel format for you to look at and peruse in any way you see fit. You can chop up the data into different time segments and then download that as well. There's 1,000,001 ways that you can look at all the data that is collected from these games to help improve your learner's experience and improve overall your training. On top of that, in terms of data collection and integration, we'll get there more in a little bit too, but we integrate with LMSs. All of our games can be SCORM wrapped. You can share games out with a simple URL, which you'll see easily momentarily. The training arcade is not an app. It's not anything that needs to be downloaded or installed by your users or even you. It's a web-based platform that all your learners need is web connectivity, and they can be playing games and gamify their training. That's simple. So let's build a game. That's why we're here, right, Jake? Yeah, okay, enough Gavin. So to build a new game, I'm going to click, you guessed it, new game, and here they are. These are the 10 games that we have available in the training arcade right now, and we are here to build a match game. All right, so here it is. Here's our blank slate. And for all of you who have been on these webinars before or who have built a game in the training arcade before, this game info homepage looks basically the same for all 10 of our games because we're kind of asking for the same information. So first of all, we need a game name. Imagine that. Match, webinar, game. Now, as soon as I navigate away from the game name, you'll notice, voila, the URL populated, which is a nice little feature. So the URL right here, this is, I believe, the easiest way to share this out to learners or to anybody, because I can simply copy this URL. I could drop it in the chat here in Zoom. I can email it. I can text it. I can do whatever I want. And as long as you click on that URL, the game will pop open and you can play the game. It's as simple as that, click of a button. Default language, we now have 20 different languages in the training arcade, which is really cool. We're adding more all the time. I'm going to keep it in English US. So one important thing to note is that this default language does not translate the content. It translates the UI. So like the score, level, start, how do I log in, all that stuff. That will all be translated into the proper language, but the material itself, that's a different webinar. There is a way to translate that, but the easiest way is to upload it in the language. You copy and paste it. All right, so we're going to keep it there. Tags, if you want to put in tags, just help you better organize your games, you can do so. So I can say webinar game, match game, whatever you want to do. This is totally optional. All right, and now we're going to get more into the game settings. So this is the one that'll be a little different from game to game. And we're going to go through all these. So set a default timer. Yeah, let's do that. We'll just set a timer for all questions. Time per question. I'm going to put 30. As you can see, you can have it be unlimited to make it more accessible, give everyone as much time as they need to answer. Or if you want to put someone a little more under the gun, hey, come on, let's think, get the answer out, you can put a time limit on. Time per level. So a level is when we're clearing the board, like we're playing match, we're playing Candy Crush, like not the questions. So we get 30 seconds a question. Let's say 60 seconds. Let's do 30 seconds for this purpose, for a level. And then we have the number of levels. So how many boards of, how many of these Candy Crush style boards do we want to clear out? So as you see, you can put up to 10. So you could have a lot of different interactions and clues and have a really intense game here if you want. I'm going to put 3. That sounds good. Number of pregame questions. So when we start match, it starts off with some questions to get you in the mood and also to maybe earn a couple power-ups to make that first board a little easier to clear. So as you can see, you can have up to 4. I'm going to put 2 because this game that I have here, it's a little more fast-paced. It's a little more just kind of a knowledge check, a demo, as opposed to anything. So I think that's a really good number for that style of game. If you're doing this more really for training and partying, you want it to be more in depth, I would definitely put 4 questions per level. And then once we answer those questions, clear a board, then we get more questions afterwards, and we can make those numbers different. I'm going to keep it at 2. Next thing here is % of questions answered correctly required to pass. So since this is a fun game, a demo game, I'm going to put 0. I'm not actually really testing you on anything. We're just here to see and have fun. If, however, I was testing you on, say, the newest pharmaceuticals, I would probably want you to score a little higher than a 0 if you're going to be selling drugs to people, right? So you can just change this any way you want. Not that. 70% rather is passing as far as I know. Again, I'm going to keep it at 0. Next thing here on all of our games are session limits. So this can be a really fun tool to make it more of a knowledge check. As much as we've seen that people improve their knowledge the more they play, maybe you want a pure knowledge check. Hey, you get one chance, answer this, see how you did. You can make that happen. You can pick a start date, and you can pick a time that the game is available to, even down to the 5 minutes, to make it so you only have this space available to play the game. Another thing you can do is limit the amount of sessions that people play in total. And that can also be used to say like a sales contest or just a contest. Hey, from this 6-hour period on Tuesday, whoever gets the most points or the highest score in this game wins a day off, wins a gift card, wins a free lunch. I don't know, something like this, right? So that is also an option you can do. Really fun thing. Randomized questions. So this is a feature in some of our games. I do randomize the questions in a match game, just meaning they'll just kind of the pre-level and after level questions, they'll just randomly pick from the ones that you've created. If you turn that off, they will be presented in the order that you have them in the game. We'll see that momentarily. And that's just up to you, right? The game that I've built, they don't really need to be in order, but maybe yours does. Show a tutorial before game start. I'm just going to say no because I'm going to show you how to play, but that is definitely good to have that on if you have new learners who are playing single player, right? And then these two buttons at the end of the game, a menu will pop up with some buttons. And if you want to populate those with a URL to say, hey, you just played this game on how to make chili. Here's another link on some great chili recipes, right? Like you can do that just to further the learning of your learners. Information pop-up, another optional feature that you can have at the beginning of the game. I swear I can spell. To tell your learners why you're here. Lorem ipsum. Here's our game introduction. Well, so this just tells them, like I said, why are you here? Why am I playing this game? What are we hoping to accomplish? How do I play the game? This is optional. I do find it's helpful to have this in as it just kind of sets up the story and the purpose of the game. All right, few last things here. So authorization type, if you want to, you can upload a player list. See, I have my example list here. It's me. I'm the only one on it. So if I want only Jake to play this game, you can simply import an Excel spreadsheet, create the player list, and voila, then only Jake can play. Or you don't need any authorization. User registration. If I say no, then nothing happens. People can just play the game. If I say yes, it will give you the option to collect certain data, certain information to identify your learners. First name, last name, email, pretty standard. If you want to, you can add in custom fields. That could be, let's say you want to know the company of someone. And then it could be a text input. Great. There you go. Make them required or not required. Or again, we don't need any of that. Last button here is show leaderboard. I always recommend you turn this on unless for some reason you don't want to know what or you don't want your learners to know what other people scored on, say it is an actual test they're doing, right? But if it's something for training, something for fun, I highly recommend you have that on because that's the gamification element we want to capture, the leaderboard, that I got to get a higher score than you, that motivation, right? So quick note, if you have user registration off, but the leaderboard turned on, all it's going to ask for is name or initials. So, you know, a literal leaderboard, that arcade, when you were a kid, you had those 3 letters to etch your name in glory, right? My arcade name is Jake the Snake. So that's what I would be putting in. And it's just, again, to denote you from other people. Great. Now, a couple last things here. So the theme of the game. So here we go. There are some themes here, like I said. So we got the April Fools on. Origami, this is our, default skin for this game. We had one for Mother's Day. Here's Thanksgiving. You get the idea, right? So you can definitely kind of engage your learners a different way. You can also have audio in the background if you want. I'm going to put this off just for the case of this webinar. That's just audio. It's just fun. And for the game, this is available on almost all of our games, except for Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune that have some more strict IP guidelines. But if you want to, you can always upload a company logo to anything, or if you just want to put in a text, Jake's Game Building, you can do that as well. You can change the title to an image or a text, webinar game, and you can even upload an image to the background if you wanted to, with a simple file explorer. Oh, I've got ahead. There you go. It's not formatted right, but that's just an old stock image I had. So there you go. Tons of different ways that you can make this game your own. Sweet. Now, we've got all the kind of foundations set up. Everything looks good to me. So now I'm going to go in the top right corner and click Save. Sweet. Game added successfully. We're good. And now you can notice that we can add questions. Awesome. So match is like our jump game. It's like our trivia game where you add single questions. So a game could be 1 question, 100 questions, anything in between. Something like Jeopardy, where there's a board, it's a little more, like I said, rigid in like the actual size and how much you have to do. But this, we can just keep adding questions until we feel like we've got enough. So let's do it. So I click Add a Question, and voila. So first of all, as I said, in our match game, we have 5 different question types: multiple choice, multi-select, image, text input, and polling. We're going to start with a good old-fashioned multiple choice question. I can upload an image to be a picture clue. Now, I honestly, in our match and jump games, I personally do not like images all the time because it just makes the UI look a little, you have to scroll a little bit. But obviously, you can harness this to have an image or an audio or video and say, hey, look at this, then answer a question about it. But if you don't have to have it, like you're just kind of adding an image in to make it look fun, know that it can make the learner scroll down a little on the question. And I feel like that can impact from the experience of the kind of just moving along, keeping that adrenaline going, right? So you can upload any of that if you want to. And here's where we put a question text. Now, I'm going to switch tabs to my handy dandy. Oops, that was good. Last time I did this webinar, Google decided at that moment to log me out of my Google account and log back into all this stuff, but not today. Thank you, Google. So I always write down my clues outside of the training arcade. I just find it helps me organize my thoughts, puts them in a different place. I can collaborate easier with people, just Google Docs, right? Allows for comments and all that good stuff. You do not have to do this. I like to do it as it just helps me organize, and that's how I think. So what I'm going to do is just simply, here's my first question. I got a true or false. I'm going to copy it, go to the game, paste it. Excellent. And that's it. Use a timer for this question. It says yes, because if we go back to game info, remember that we said to use one on all questions and it defaulted to 30. Excellent. Now, again, if you want, you can have timers on simply some questions, right? Maybe some questions are really hard and you want to give a longer time or unlimited amount of time. You can absolutely do that. I just like to have them all the same time just for continuity's sake. All right, so this is a true or false question. So my answers for this multiple choice are going to be true or false. And now this one, I'm going to de-randomize the answers because I want true to be before false. Again, that's just my personal taste. And then you select the correct answer, which is true, right? Yep, it's true. And then here is my feedback. So feedback, this is a really great thing for the training arcade and training, using games for training. Because instead of just, hey, you got it right, good job, you have the opportunity to say, you got it right, and here's why. Or you got it right, and here's some more information. Or on the flip side, hey, you got that wrong, here's why. You got that wrong, maybe look at this, to help you understand why you answered incorrectly. So you can have different feedback for correct and incorrect. I like to have them, I put them the same for, again, fun games like this, is because, again, I'm not, actually testing you, this isn't going to impact anything, but you can definitely have different feedback. Or if you want to even leave one of the feedbacks blank, you can do that too. Great. So we've got our first question. And now what you can do is save the game, make sure all that hard work doesn't go away. And this game is now actually good to go. We can play it with just one question. I wouldn't be all that fun, but we can do it. We're going to add a few more questions. So let's add another one, and let's add in a multi-select answer. Yeah, which is here. All right, so again, I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to pick multi-select. There's my question that I copied and pasted. And since I have 4 answers here, I need to go down and add an answer. As you saw, you have to have a minimum of 2 for sure for a multiple choice, and you can have up to 5 possible answers. I have 4. So they are this. So this is another thing that I do personally. I copy all of the answers, and I usually just pop them into one, cut and paste them here. Again, whichever way is easiest for you, whatever makes you happy. This is just how I do it. Get rid of those commas. Voila, there we go. So which of these does it help? It helps all of them. So since this is multi-select, I'm going to select all of them. Great. Go back to feedback. Copy. One more time, paste. And that's it. Now, as you can see, once you have this, your content actually written, the game written, it's easy as cake to copy and paste to add this stuff in, particularly for these games like trivia, jump, match. Like you can build them like that. They're really simple. Let's do one more question type before we get to the finished product and looking at the game. All right, so I'm going to add one more question up here again, remember? And now I'm going to go to text input. Great. I don't have any images or audio to upload. There's my question. Blank is the act of providing or acquiring new or more advanced skills for yourself or for your employees. The answer is upskilling. I will also accept reskilling. Now, text inputs are a little more customizable. So the direct exact answer I want people to give is this, upskilling. Spelled like that, that's the right answer. So that is my built-in, baked-in, exact answer. Reskilling, spelled this way, same thing. I will accept exactly that answer. But let's say someone typed in upskilling your employees. That's correct. That is correct. Just the language and the interpretation is slightly different from how I worded the question. So instead of typing out exact upskilling your employees, upskilling my employees, upskilling the employees, right? I can get like a headache real quick. We have the contains function. So if someone gives me an answer that contains the word upskilling in it or contains the word reskilling in it, if I can spell it correctly, right? They'll get that answer correct. So you can be as merciful or unmerciful as you want with these text inputs. And I will say that text inputs make people think. They make them think more. Obviously, there is something to be said with multiple choice questions and misclues, like trying to trick people into answering the wrong question to make them think about what the right one is. But a text input, I see a lot of people look at text input. It's like, oh my God, it's a black hole. It could be anything. It could be Kris Kringle, for all I know, is the correct answer to this. So I find them they may be a scarier way, but they're a really good way to engage and check the knowledge of your learners. Great. And then we have our last bit of feedback here. Voila, voila. We're going to click save. And this game, like I said, is ready to rock. We can play this. But you know what? We do need some more questions, but you don't want to sit here and watch me answer every question. So with a little cooking show magic, ta-da! Here is our match demo with 9 different questions. These are all of the questions on this form, all baked in here, and we are ready to rock. Voila. So I think to create this game from scratch with this template took me 10 minutes at best, right? So you really can do this. As I've seen, it's easy in copy and pasting your materials in. And then once you have that set, ready to rock, we're going to click play game. And here we are. Here's our match game. I'm going to click start. Here is the intro page that I talked about. So if I go to the game real quick again, game info, here it is. Here is the text that I have for this. Voila, just telling people why we're here, how to play the game. And then here's the registration, which is reflected thusly. Great. I clearly do this a lot. It's saved. Great. Now the tutorial is turned on here. So again, we're sliding and swapping tiles to make them match up. And then we can answer questions for a power up. Great. So here's the first question. Here is the time. It's ticking away on me. At the end of 2020, a report from monster.com that this percentage of businesses has issues hiring due to skill gaps. Probably 30. Oh, no, it's incorrect. And here's my feedback just to tell me what is going on. Now, a great thing about games is that feedback was instant. I knew instantly I got it wrong, as opposed to a good old-fashioned quiz or test with, pen and paper or turning something in. I have to wait for the instructor to tell me what I got wrong and what I got right. The game, it's instant. I, as the learner, instantly know, ah, shoot, I got that wrong. And then you, as the trainer, have the ability also to instantly know they got it wrong, but then you have the opportunity to address it, to reinforce, here's why. Here's something that maybe will help you in the future remember this a little better or get the answer right. Plus, again, if we keep playing the game, I will come up against this question probably again. And then hopefully I know the answer at that point is 80%. That's a pretty staggering number, the amount of people that had issues. All right, cool. So we missed that one. Let's try for the next one. Which of these tools is an efficient, cost-effective, and customizable means to upskill your employees? Or in-person seminars aren't so efficient. E-learning, probably. A library card, definitely cool, but I'm gonna go with e-learning. Voila, that was correct. So you'll notice here, I got one answer correct, so I got one power-up. If I had gotten both answers correct, I would have gotten 2 different power-ups. But you live and you learn, got one right, better than 0. Here's my feedback. We're going to continue. And here are the rewards that I got. Excuse me, for answering correctly. Tap to continue. And here we go. Here is our board. Here's my score, the level. Here is the time ticking away. And if I want to pause it because, I got a phone call or got to take a sip of my coffee or something like this, you can do that. You can turn the sound on or off for our games. I have things muted because I'm in here all day. The sound haunts my dreams. And you have the ability just to pause that game. So here we go. Let's start matching stuff up. All right, boom. We got doubles there. Got something there. And again, while this may not seem, like the training is too much, it's a brain break. It's giving my brain something else to focus on. And then I can go back to answering these questions. All right, besides teaching new skills, it also can improve blanking organization. As we know, we did this. I think it's all of them. Yeah, it is. Excellent. So I got my power up. I'm going to continue. Sweet. So I'm going to click on that power up and look at that. It just blew up all of those rows for me. I got another one. I'm going to do it again. Awesome. Clearing it out. 3 more seconds, 2 seconds. All right, got another one in. Level 1 was finished. Then we can go to the next level. And that is a match game. So as you can see, I really do like this because I think the best way to think about it is it gets the blood flowing, right? You're answering these questions, you engage with them quickly, multiple different times. You're getting rewards for them to help you get a higher score. So you're learning and having fun and being engaged all at the same time. And then as our games go on, it gets a little more difficult. So like blocker tiles, jump, you run into things that can stun you. So you fall off the jump to improve that difficulty and just kind of keep engaging your learners. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, there we go. That's how easy it is to build a working match game and to engage your audience in that manner. Thank you. All right. I am here to answer any questions. And actually, what I can also do is share out this URL real quick to you all in the chat. And you can play that game that I was just playing. It's locked and loaded. Go ahead. All righty. Thank you guys again. Stephanie, what do we got for questions here? I'm happy to help.
All right. So Madeline has been doing a great job of answering questions, but we do have one. So when you are doing those settings for the answers, if you select exact, does that also require the exact capitalization or is it just the exact spelling?
That is a great question, Cleon. It is just the spelling. It is just the spelling. Yes.
Good.
Definitely a good question.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like to do capital letters when I'm doing quizzes.
Right. See, text inputs, they make everyone freezes up. They get so nervous about them, but they're great ways for you to dig deep into that well and actually pull out the right answer. So.
Yes. So let's see. As Madeline said, you can export these as form files, right, to use with an LMS. SCORM, iframe, you can also do the URL. The games are XAPI ready.
Correct.
And yeah, that's all the questions that we have right now. If you have any more, okay. The cost of the Train Arcade. I do believe we have a whole webpage devoted to pricing, right?
We do. And I think I can beat you to it, Stephanie. No offense.
All right. I'm not even going to try. Jake said he can beat me. He thinks he's faster. All right.
Boom. There it is. All right. So that's pricing for the Training Arcade. So you can have a minimum of 3 games, but the 10-game pack is not actually all that much more. Are the other games similar in process? Patrice, yes, that is a great question. So a lot of our games are similar. If you go to the ELB YouTube channel, which Stephanie, I bet you can pull that up faster than me. I have done 4 of these game building webinars. This is the 4th one. I built a Jeopardy game, Wheel of Fortune, Jump, and now Match. Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune are definitely unique beasts because they're Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. They have IP, specific game styles. So I'd recommend watching those webinars. However, they're not more difficult at all to build. They're just different. I would say our most complicated games that you can also get the most out of are our scenarios and detective games. Scenarios is a branching path game. So that could be as intricate as you want it to be. You can have whole live actors and script. It can be really, really cool, the things that you can do with scenarios, but that can clearly be a whole project. Whereas as you saw, a match game, a jump, a trivia game like ours, you can build those in 10 minutes. A scenarios game, I would be impressed if someone could build a scenarios game in 10 minutes. I challenge you. Oh, cool. Patrice, we should talk. We have a scenarios game. Yeah, I'm a huge video gamer. I never played Dungeons and Dragons actually growing up, but I love role-playing games and those branching paths, like, the decisions affect what you do and how the game goes. So it's a really, really fun way also to engage your learners, but building those games is definitely more of a task. So
Yeah, that's why Jake hasn't done a webinar on how to build those yet.
we're getting there. We're getting there, Stephanie.
Stay tuned.
So actually, I had one question for everyone if you're not here, and I know it is kind of answered, I think, in the after, we ask for some feedback afterwards, but what game would you all like to see me build next? Or is there a game you are most interested in watching be built or have questions on, et cetera, et cetera? Or are any of them going to work for you? Last thing, don't say scenarios. Okay.
So what game do you want as long as it's not scenarios?
Exactly.
You can post that in the chat, and that is also in the follow-up survey that you'll get when you leave the Zoom.
Perfect.
Definitely share your feedback because, we want to give you guys what you want.
Cool. Great.
Yeah. All right. So looks like no more questions about the match game. Thank you all so much for joining us today. And Jake, thank you for taking the time to teach us this.
You're welcome.
The recording will go out to everyone via email. We'll also include a link to sign up for a demo or a free trial of Training Arcade. So if you're not already a user, you can check that out and see how easy it is to build these yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you at our next webinar.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.